What's up, y'all? This is in response to the police body cam video footage obtained from the Carson City, Nevada Sheriff's Office. And I had posted a previous video on the FBI agent police impersonator incident. So we've got the other deputy's body cam footage. We're going to review just a portion of this. Now, what's interesting is that anytime you have a sheriff's office or department, that is usually, in most, if not all instances, I mean, in my law enforcement and public safety experience, is something that is reserved for policing the county. So anytime you have a sheriff's department, usually, most folks know the sheriff is like, he's the seat of the county, right? Carson City Sheriff's Office apparently is the sheriff of the municipality. They used to have what was once Ormsby County, and Carson City would have been located within Ormsby County, but not anymore. We don't really even know who these people are at this point because, as I've explained previously, in order to be peace officer certified, which Nevada sheriff's officers are, they're Category 1 peace officers, and they obtain or receive their certification from Nevada's Commission on Peace Officer Standard Training. However, being that Nevada as a state is not in compliance with federal law, being there in routine violations of federal law, as such deals with human trafficking or otherwise known as prostitution, I'm not sure as to the integrity of their authority in regards to peace officer vetting powers as a state. So this is, we don't know. This is Carson City Sheriff's Office, but that's a municipality. It's not a county. Carson City is the capital of the state of Nevada. All right, so that's concerning because prostitution is legal in about 10 counties in Nevada. All right. And actually, peace officers, where prostitution is legal, the sheriff's department is the licensing authority. Or at the very minimal, they conduct the background investigations for brothel workers. All right? This is Nevada. Hey, yippee-ki-yay, this is what this is, all right? So, if you go over the other video, of the recap for this incident, we talked about the Nevada revised statute as such deals with red and blue lighting, which was the reason for the arrest. That was incidental to the search, and then police officers found an FBI badge. And then if you listen to the dialogue here of this particular officer, and he's talking to his boss, they're coordinating and making decisions about what to do with the subject. All right. Now, he even states that the PI license I had was a fake state ID. So they're trying to bunch everything together because they already talked to their boss. When you listen to him talk to the sheriff, Kenneth Furlong, and he's saying that the driver had red and blue lights. That's not illegal because they weren't activated. They have to be displaying, okay? Well, if you're operating a vehicle and you're displaying red and or blue lighting in the state of Nevada, that would be illegal. To simply have those lights is not, because when those lights are not displaying, you wouldn't actually know that they're red and or blue lights because there's absolutely no coloration to the lighting apparatus until those lights are activated. So the initial cause for the stop was improper display of license plates as a result of a tinted license plate cover I had on the rear license plate. And that in Nevada is not an infraction. That's a misdemeanor. So Nevada doesn't have infractions. So again, this is another example of policing for profit. Why is this important? This is important because officers are entrusted to uphold public safety. That's your number one priority, not officer safety, as you hear this officer say at the beginning of the video. Public safety. Right? Public safety is number one. I don't know, maybe Nevada is following an entirely different constitution and federal law and so forth, but public safety is what you swear your oath to. You're a public servant, that's a good steward of the public, right? So peace officers are entrusted with a great deal of discretionary powers to draw reasonable inferences in response to the totality of the circumstances. Okay, again, peace officers are entrusted with a great deal of discretionary power to draw reasonable inferences in response to the totality of circumstances. So when we talk about policing for profit, when so much of a peace officer's job is discretionary, do you have to create all that? Do you have to tie up your agency's resources and have all those investigators? I mean, they had several officers from CCSO. They had a state investigator. Okay, then they had the boss out there. They had to call out Kenneth Furlong himself. And this is all for revenue generation. It's kind of like their concealed carry weapons permits, all right? When you have no more rights left in the country and all you have to give your citizens is a CCW as like a form of like a membership so people can feel like they're part of the power structure, right? So they can walk around and pretend to know the sheriff and all this. This is what you have in places like Nevada. So my job is to investigate public corruption, all right? And the disappearance of missing children. That's what I do, okay? And you're not going to obstruct me from my job. I don't care if you're a Category 1 peace officer or whoever you say that you are. And in the state of Nevada, I wouldn't give these people much credibility just simply based on who their certifying authority is, and that's Nevada Post. And being that Nevada is not in compliance with federal law, they have no standing legal grounds in that sense, all right? Because we have the law of the land, and federal law always supersedes state law or local laws. Anytime there's a conflict, 1803, Marbury versus Madison. So we're going to just do a quick recap of this segment. Also, there was flashbang grenades in the vehicle. Those are legal explosives, okay? And this is what they were concerned about. No firearms, all right? No guns at all, okay? Do I make my point? There's absolutely no guns on the subject or in his vehicle, all right? So this is an interesting scenario because everything in this situation could have been de-escalated by the officers, all right? Okay, that was a simple infraction. That was a traffic stop, cite and release. That's it. All right. And then we get into Nevada law as such pertains to one's vehicle is actually an extension of their home. So technically, as per their laws, we already talked about how the lighting system in the vehicle was not activated. It wasn't displaying, thus there was no violation of NRS. But the point being is that even if it had been, I mean, technically, that's an extension of your home according to Nevada law. They have contradictory laws. That's what we're getting at. The point of all this is that there's no uniformity in law with states like Nevada. They don't abide by the federal law or code or statutes. They're not in accordance with the U.S. Constitution whatsoever. All right? If you read their code, it was like written in Old English or something. Okay, and I mean, I find that questionable. Let's continue. Let's proceed with this. This is interesting. Listen to how this deputy talks to his boss on the phone, and then he's going to ask the subject some questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a contractor. I work with the FBI. I work with security. I work with...
Okay, if you review the video, never did I say that I presently work with any agency, okay? Saying I have worked or contracted for or subcontracted for various agencies, I have. And I actually attempted to show my training certificates, everything that I have on my phone, okay? FBI official record of training. I've contracted for FEMA. I've worked in an unofficial capacity for the state of Nevada. And then I guess somewhere along the line, deputies couldn't verify that. They said I was like a dropout from the academy, which I wasn't. I actually successfully completed the academy, met with the director who shook my hand and so forth. But the point being is that this is what happens when you have folks that are in a kind of adversarial mindset. You learn about this in criminal justice, is that oftentimes police officers have the us versus them mentality when they deal with the public. And then so like any time that you're confrontational or you're just not submissive, you just don't submit to them, like you ask them questions, they tend to feel like you don't have that right as a civilian, when in fact they took an oath for public safety. Remember, at the beginning of this video, the peace officer initiating the traffic stop right off the bat says, officer safety, or you pull over immediately, not when it's safe to do so. This is a matter of public safety, okay? This is not officer safety, yes, but public safety. You take an oath to uphold public safety. That's who you serve. Don't ever forget that. You're a good steward to the public. And so when I talk about public corruption, as per my training, that always happens and starts at the top. Ethical lapses begin at the top of the chain of command. All right, and then police departments have a paramilitary structure. Okay, they're structured like the military. All right, and then so anytime you have ethical lapses at the top of the food chain, that tends to have a detrimental impact on the entire organization. And especially with the Carson City Sheriff's Office, where they're talking to the sheriff, okay? Now, when your job is based on your discretionary powers, you're certified. You're a certified peace officer. Why do you have to run all that by the sheriff? Because it seems like you don't know your job. If you have to verify and confirm, if you don't know the law, this is what I'm getting at. Your job is to know the law, not only those laws that you impose or implement on a daily and routine basis. Your job is to know the law to where you're confident enough in your work to where you don't have to call the boss and be, hey, is what we're doing legal? Well, he said this and he works for that. And now you have to trump up the entire incident. Now you have to lie. Hey, he's got a fake Nevada state ID. No, I don't. That's a PI license issued by the state of Nevada. Why don't you call them? They'll verify the credentials. So that's what I'm saying. These people don't know their job, and this is dangerous. It's very dangerous to have peace officers like this. I am frightened of these types of communities. Not only for myself, but for your children. Okay? I am frightened of these types of communities for the sake of public safety. Because who's running the show? I mean, you have to call the boss. You don't even know your job. You gotta go, no, because we have to get the okay from the boss, because the boss, and we're NRS, with the concealed carry, and then there was absolutely like no guns on me, nothing, no firearms in the vehicle, on or about the persons. So you know what this is? This is an ego trip. People, that's what it is. It's everybody wants to feel like they're macho. That's it. That's all that is. For lights that were not activated on the dash. This is what they do. This is how they tie up your resources, guys. All right. So it can't get any more dangerous than that, because in case of a federal emergency, under the Federal Emergency Powers Act, the sheriff becomes more important than your governor. Okay, so if there's ever a federal emergency declared, the United States is divided into FEMA regions. I know this. I've worked for FEMA. Okay, so the sheriff becomes the seat of the county. You know, that's interesting, because Carson City's not a county. These aren't county sheriffs. We don't even know who they are. There used to be Ormsby County. There is no county. There's a Carson City Sheriff. That's unheard of. I don't even know what that's all about. We need to do some further investigating into that. But the point is that in case of a federal emergency, the sheriff becomes the man, more important than the governor. The U.S. breaks up into 13 FEMA regions. And then each region is governed by a board of governors. But if you're going to rely on this kind of public service, okay, in these current times, all right, with everything we got going on, keep in mind, we're at war, okay, on the global front. Politically, in the United States, domestically, we have issues, okay, as we've witnessed with the January 6th insurrection. So this is who's arming your civilian population. They're not educating them. They're just giving them guns. This is a guerrilla warfare. These are arms traffickers, all right? This is what they're doing. They're trafficking arms into the community because they want your endorsement to keep this kind of police work up. And it's not any one peace officer's fault here in this situation. Again, ethical lapses in law enforcement begin at the top of the hierarchy, okay? So that's what you have here with this department, and there's unfortunately so many more agencies like this. We're going to continue and kind of breeze through this more fast.
You know, A, B, and C, he's got like a fake Nevada State ID on him.
PI license. That's not fake.
Yeah, he's like, hold on a second, I got my boss call me. I'll call you right back. All right.
That's Kenneth Furlong calling you right now.
You there?
That's Kenny.
Hey.
He's up for re-election, or he was.
Okay. Yeah. No, he didn't. He was trying to hide it. And Franny saw the red and blues. He's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Those are my lights." He's like, "Oh, you turn them on for me?" And then
how do you try to hide something that's on the dash? Hang on. Anybody review the video? At any point did the subject attempt to hide the lighting from the dash? Because this is what he's saying. He's telling his boss this. Now you're providing false information to your own investigators. At any point did I try to... They're acting like I had paraphernalia that I was trying to hide, right? No, nothing. They stripped apart the entire vehicle, okay? So he's saying I was trying to hide the sirens. How do you try to hide sirens on the dash? Was I reaching for the dash? At any point, did any of the officers on scene say, "Hey, sir, what are you doing? Are you, stay put. Don't mess with the light on the dash"? No. How do you try to hide the lighting on the dash? Listen to this. This is exactly what happens. So this is what we call the telephone game. This is where one person says something to the other person, and then they relay that to the next person, and before you know it, the message is distorted by the time it gets to whoever the decision maker is. This is hilarious. Keep watching this.
From there, just for the red and blue lights on the vehicle, on his private vehicle.
How did you know that they were red and blue? Sir, can you please turn those on for me? Entrapment, free of the poisonous tree.
Yeah.
I'm asking this question. He says he moved into this address.
Alright, so then he turns off his audio. Alright? See that? He turns off his audio because he doesn't want you to know what he's saying. Because he knows. Because now, you see what I'm saying? Guilty conscience. See what that is? Because that's why you turned off the audio. Because you know. Because the boss was like, hey, that in and of itself is not illegal. Did he have him activated? Was he operating the vehicle with those lights activated? No, the driver was not. FBI badge, it's a novelty item. Okay, FBI, it could be Secret Service, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever badge you have, that was a result of a search that was unlawful. Because you had no right to conduct that search. You're supposed to be peace officers. You're supposed to protect and serve. Okay, now somebody's mad because they think that you're trying to be like them. That's what it is. That's why they're mad. It's a power trip. Did you hear how Torres talked? The officer initiating the traffic stop. Okay? I know exactly who he is because I trained with him. He doesn't even remember me. I know his wife, Sam, from Douglas County. Torres used to work for Douglas County Sheriffs. Okay, where the sheriff is Dan Coverly. That was the anti-BLM sheriff. Remember when you had all those protests? He was saying, "Don't call me. Don't call me if you need our help because we as you anti-police." Or remember when you had all that going on? He's the anti-BLM sheriff. So this is what you have in these communities, all right? And that's why this guy turned his audio off, because now they know, all right? So I'm pretty much done commenting on this, but the point being is that Torres, the guy that initiated the stop, knows exactly who I am. And I know because he was with Tri-County Gang Unit. Okay, I trained with him. He doesn't know me because I'm a subject or a suspect. He knows me because we trained together, and I know his wife, Sam, because I was the only security contractor to wear body armor when she and I had a discussion at my place of work. And you know that I was at my place of work because that's where you find me. All right, so this is exactly what you have with these types of municipalities. We're still unsure who's a peace officer and who's not here. Because as far as I'm concerned, when you're out of compliance with federal law as a state, being the state of Nevada, okay, you're not eligible to receive certain federal funding that they receive. Okay, as a state for policing purposes. That's number one. Okay. Secondly, you can't engage in certain crimes as a peace officer. All right, that disqualifies you from law enforcement. So, in order to be an instructor, okay, that administers certification for peace officers and partakes in the vetting process, you cannot be implicit to ongoing crimes in the state of Nevada, which Nevada is, by the facilitation of prostitution, which is federally illegal, though legal in Nevada. All right, so I don't know who's certifying these people. I don't know who's giving them their Category 1 post and all this, but you know what? this is what you have going on in America. That's real. Okay? All right? This is actually happening in your communities. So at this point, I think it's safe to say that is not the government. All right? You work for a state where prostitution is legal. The state of Nevada vets peace officers. All right? Federally, prostitution is illegal. Okay? I've taken an entire curriculum on criminal investigations as such relates to federal offenses with the Federal Law Enforcement Training Centers, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Do you understand? Okay. And so anytime that there's a conflict between state and federal law supersedes. Whether it's the codification of law or the U.S. Constitution, as per Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution, which has been upheld by the Supreme Court in 1803, Marbury versus Madison. All right? That means we don't have to have judicial review. We don't have to challenge that in court. That's what the law says. That's what the law says, and that's what the Supreme Court has ruled. So when you're out of compliance with the law as a state and municipality, we don't have to listen to you. We the people. Because remember, I'm not a peace officer or federal agent. I don't have any training, and nobody could confirm nor deny that I've ever worked any government job. All right? So as a civilian, I'm telling you on behalf of all people, of all colors, races, and creeds, everybody, I'm bringing everybody together. You are not the government, nor peace officers or a municipality or any of that. I'm telling you that. All right? And we will not abide by any of this injustice. Ever. And nobody ever should. All right? I'm standing up for all the people that have been victims of policing for profit. I'm standing up for you against this madness. They want to give everybody guns and have everybody fighting so they can keep collecting a government salary. And then they walk around and chew tobacco too, yo. That's misconduct in and of itself. These guys are showing up to work chewing tobacco, man. How professional is that, yo? Hey, that in and of itself makes you disqualified because your judgment is clouded at that point. If you're showing up to work and you're chewing tobacco, okay, because you're probably hungover, as most of these officers abuse alcohol daily, and I know, because I've investigated their entire municipality, man, we don't have to listen to any of this. This is nonsense. So I hope you guys are doing good out there. Thank you for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button. Listen to my podcast. And until next time.